Good morning, Ruskin enjoyers. Hope you're doing alright, 'cause it's time for the predictions video. Now, before I proceed with that, I have a question to ask you. How many of you watch me on your phones, on the YouTube app? The reason I ask is because they've set up a brand new feature, a new initiative. There is the hype feature, in which when you watch a video, if you happen to like it, you can, well, hype it up. Apparently, you can do this 3 times a week on 3 different videos, or you can just put all of your hype into one video. Don't fully know all the details, but if you watch me on your phones, I'd be incredibly grateful if you offered any of your hype, even if it's just a little bit. But yeah, an interesting new feature that's made to help out smaller channels. If you find me insightful, helpful, if you think any of my short videos have been incredibly useful to you, helpful and whatnot, please consider offering something, I guess. But I've only just found out about this. I thought I might as well ask. I'm grateful for all the viewership regardless and whatnot. And now let's proceed and talk about those predictions. But before we talk about that, we've also got to talk about the recent blog post. September update happened today. It was just some maintenance, some like bug fixes and whatnot. But the NAVAL update has been mentioned and its release date has been said. November. It's coming out November, the NAVAL update. You know, the update that we've been anticipating for a very long time, just waiting, itching, you know, it's coming out November. You might assume, oh no, okay, it's going to probably be boring for October then. No, because as they have written right here, look ahead to October, we're lining up strong meta and balance changes. I think that's implying weapon changes, buffs, nerfs. And why do we care about that? Because if they buff a weapon, all of its skins are likely going to be a whole lot more in demand. Let's just offer an example. Imagine if Face Punch decided, oh, let's make the custom SMG the most powerful weapon in the game. Don't you think all the skins might go up in demand? Up in price? Oh, okay. But how can you keep up to date with this? Keep an eye on the commits. The link to this is in the description. And basically, if you don't know what, the commits are, all the devs are writing about what they're currently working on. It's all public. You can see. And, well, at some point, they're going to mention any changes they do to the weapons. And if you want to be one of the first people to be aware of that, keep an eye on this. Imagine if they turned around and said, well, you know what? We're going to buff the MP5, make it a whole lot more stronger. If you find out early, you could jump in and invest into some MP5 skins. And if it does come out and becomes, well, really, really impressive, people like it, of course, a lot more people are going to want to buy MP5 skins and it'll go up in price. Again, these are examples, but I'm sure you get the idea. If there's buffs for a weapon, chances are it'll be appreciated a whole lot more. And with more demand to use the actual weapon, more demand to use the skins, better skin prices for that skin, or that item, if you know what I mean. So, okay, keep an eye on the commits. It's going to help you out a lot. And now, let's proceed to talk about the current Rust store, the September Force Wipe Rust store for 2025. Out of all these skins, which one is potentially the best investment for this week? Which of these skins might help us walk away with some sweet, delicious looking profit? I think I just had to go for the easy option. Sinotype Scrap Large Box. So, the past, 2 months now, we've been seeing Sinotype Box, Sinotype Box, Sinotype Box. That's fine. But with that 1 week of no Sinotype Large Box, people panicked and the prices dropped. But since we saw the return last week, the Sinotype cloves, they've gone back up a bit. But as we go through September, October, and November, I question what's going to happen. I've told you multiple times about the autumn fall seasonal dip. But if we get something very juicy, very interesting getting nerfed or buffed, and in the October changes, in the October update next month, well, I think a lot of people are going to want to jump in. Imagine if they said, oh, we're just going to test out bringing back old recoil. Again, this is just a big joke, but you know what I mean. That's going to entice people to jump back in. Homework, school, I'm going to have fun in the force wipe. So, I'm still anticipating most prices to drop off as we go through September and October. But with the NAVAL update coming out in November, I just can't help but assume we're going to see big numbers for that. Just to give you some context, the peak player count today was only 150,000. The absolute lowest we've seen all this year. Like the previous lowest was 187,000. Clearly you can notice the difference. Less people playing Rust, lower demand for skins, lower prices. It's inevitable. So hopping back over to here, talking about the Sinotype collection, we are going to have a bit of a bumpy ride. It's inevitable. However, it's not like this is the first time this has ever happened. This is a routine thing that happens every single year. This isn't even the first storage collection to suffer with the autumn fall seasonal dip. However, over the course of the next few weeks, so as long as we keep seeing more Sinotype skins being produced and accepted, you shouldn't expect any dramatic drops in price. So at the very least, in the long term, that scrap storage is going to be appreciated. It's going to slowly rise up in price, and it will eventually become a nice profitable skin. But long term, probably bare minimum would be, oh, you've probably got to wait until, well, January 2026, maybe even the summer of 2026. But I just can't help but assume everything's just going to be A-okay. You just got to wait. And unfortunately, not a lot of people can afford to wait. Not a lot of people have the patience. I'm sure you understand. But the more the merrier. The skin creator keeps making more and more. And before people complain about, well, what do I need a scrap storage for? It's actually a recycler box. Imagine you're trying to organise your base, but you've got a whole bunch of stuff you need to go recycle at Lighthouse, for example. Well, you stick it in there. Look, recycling symbols. I did get a bit confused as well. So if you're fully well aware, Odyssey, the skin creator, he recently submitted the Armour large box. I won't be surprised if we see that next week. Keep an eye on his workshop. I'm still expecting at least 15 skins, maybe more. But overall, the only concern is if we see another storage collection being made and accepted whilst this is currently being worked on, or just after it finishes. If we don't see another storage collection for about a year, okay, that should be fine. It'll have time to breathe, be appreciated, and it'll slowly go up. If another one appears immediately afterwards, oh dear. But let me just remind you, just after we finished the Neon storage collection, scientific storage collection appeared like a month or two after. And when the scientific storage collection finished, oh look, graffiti, yay! So it's happened before, but those other storage collections still progressed and worked out nicely because people appreciated them. So give it time. Sinotype scrap large box should be okay. So that one might take a bit of patience, but out of all these other skins, what's also looking to be very appealing? Celestial Harmony Wooden Double Door. Now, some of you might sit there and say, but Hedge, that's the lowest selling skin. Exactly. Wooden double doors, they've only recently become quite common because there was the initiative in the official Ruskin Making Discord to make skins for certain items that just don't get that many skins. July 2025, Salvage Dice Pick. Last month for August, Wooden Double Door. And now it's the M39 for September. So with the Salvage Dice Picks, we got 4 skins in a row, didn't we? And with the Wooden Double Doors, lo and behold, it's happened again. But because we had so many Wooden Double Doors in such a short amount of time, it clearly shows that people just don't really care enough to buy another Wooden Double Door. Or rather, people probably already bought a Wooden Double Door, they're happy, they see a new one, they're like, I'm good, and they just walk away. This is the lowest selling skin for about close to 3/4 of the way to a full 24 hours. And that right there, only 3,000 subscribers. I have a hunch it's going to struggle to reach 10,000 subscribers. And I can tell you that in the recent past month, whilst the Wooden Double Door was being focused, loads of skins were being submitted every single week on the workshop. In the most recent workshop submissions, so the recent batch of skins being submitted this past weekend, zero Wooden Double Doors, and that was normal before. It was rare to see Wooden Double Doors being submitted. It was even rarer to see them being accepted. What I'm saying is, all those Wooden Double Doors that were accepted somewhat recently, I wouldn't be surprised if all of them end up going up in price, because I do not expect to see another Wooden Double Door skin being accepted anytime soon. Look how it used to be. 1, 2, then you got some Twitch drops there. Last year, 2024, only 1. The average is about 1 or 2 a year. That's it. And I'm not seeing any more being made, and I'm doubting I'm going to see anything new for a while. However, there's still Halloween to come up and Christmas. And for the holiday batches, we tend to see a little bit more experimentation for certain items that don't get that many skins and whatnot. So you might still see another one. Case in point, that was a Halloween skin last year. With the sheer lack of skins being bought, with the perfectly fine look and design, the possibility of seeing a deplorable collection, I think that actually has a very good shout. Wooden Double Doors, before we saw this initiative to see skins for items that didn't get that much, before we saw this, every single Wooden Double Door skin in a Rust store was perfect, a great thing to jump into. Whilst recently we've seen quite a lot of them, I think in the long term, this is actually going to be very appealing. So if it sells next to nothing, even better. A lack of sales leads to a lack of listings, which leads to, well, If people want it, there's only so much to go around, and then, of course, the price goes up ever so nicely. So that right there, looking pretty good. So looking at all the other skins, I feel like the next thing I want to talk about, but it's a bit iffy, and there's a very easy way to showcase this. Some of you might sit there and say, Hedge, how come you haven't talked about Funerary Tier 2? There's a good reason for that. The reason I've only now decided to talk about it is because, of course, we have Funerary Hoodie and Pants, and they've greatly appreciated the arrival of the Tier 2 today. Oh yes, oh yes. How much did the Hoodie and Pants sell again? What subscriber counts do they have? Oh yeah, 10,900 and 10,800. How much does Tier 2 currently have? Uh-oh. In less than 24 hours, it's already surpassed the sales the Hoodie and Pants did. Uh-oh. There is one little hope, and it happened recently with Island Assault. So if I could just quickly go back to the past, let's just find Island Assault. There we go. The Hoodie and Pants are accepted. Do you remember this? But what you probably don't remember is when these finished their time in the rush store, they sold a little bit too much, especially in comparison to the rest of the set, aka Tier 3 and Boots and Gloves. But why is that in a positive, Hedge? Because what happened was, literally the very next rush store, we got Tier 2. That gave that a massive boost. If that didn't happen, that would very likely be in the negative right now. But of course it did happen, and well, it's perfectly fine. Unfortunately, Tier 2 sold a little bit too much after the Hoodie and Pants, like even more than Hoodie and Pants, and now that's struggling. Backpack was nice, but it wasn't enough to give that a boost. So what I'm saying is, there very likely can be a nice chance that a version 2 of Tier 3 or some Boots and Gloves very likely could be made this upcoming weekend, and if that gets accepted next rush store, oh, that's going to have a very fun time. At the current rate, that's probably doing between 25 to 30,000 subscribers. Rough estimate as of now, but that is concerning. But if the Tier 3 comes out and then sells an equal amount compared to the Tier 2, what would then just happen is the Hoodie and Pants would just be very valuable. So as long as the collection remains fairly in demand, the Hoodie and Pants would just be valuable. With the arrival of the Tier 2 today, both of these got close to $5, but they're kind of settled around $4 at the moment. And it annoys me because I had a few of them and I sold them for $2 each. I thought, oh, you know what, that's as good as it's going to get. I honestly wasn't expecting it. But lo and behold, it did happen. Another blackout alternative, I guess you could say. Although in game, it looks like a very, very dark brown. Either way, if you like it, by all means, buy a set for yourself. But if you're looking at that and questioning, oh, is it going to be a nice investment? Buddy, it's a bit of a coin flip. If we don't see that Tier 3, if we don't see Boots and Gloves, there's going to be concerns, there's going to be worries, okay? The smartest thing to do is wait out until next week, see if anything appears from the skin creator over the course of the weekend, and if there's nothing there, problems. Problems. It looks like it's selling just a little bit too much. It's better to be patient, wait it out. Next Wednesday, I'll be doing my abnormal barders. If you don't understand what that is, consider going over to my YouTube, consider looking at my most recent abnormal barders video, consider watching the first 5 minutes of it, skip ahead to the chapter that showcases the buy orders. In short, you'll know that abnormal barders, they become marketable before the rush store even rotates, about 20 hours beforehand. We get an early insight to figure out whether certain skins are actually in demand and whether they likely will even retain their value. Super helpful. Watch that video, first 5 minutes, skip ahead to the barders, you'll get everything mostly understood. So, considering the potential of that, we need new things to come out after it. Remember how we were waiting for Tire Tier 3? I guess we're now waiting for Funerary Tier 3. That's probably not going to end very nicely. So, yeah. Next skin I want to talk about, I'd say the Deep Ruby boots. I know not everybody is super pleased or super thrilled with Deep Ruby collection. You've said more than enough, I've seen it. But based on what we've seen with recent boot skins, yes, this is another one. Oh, good. Finally we get to see boots being accepted in this incomplete collection. Still waiting for Tier 3 though. Anyway, it's silly because this was actually accepted like 2 months ago, even though both of these skins were submitted at the same time. But if this doesn't sell that much, and sells a fair bit less compared to the gloves, the hoodie and pants, the Tier 2, that very likely could end up becoming, well, a little bit more valuable. But look at the gloves, look at the hoodie and pants. Is that enough? These skins have not sold that much. It very likely will just match up to it. I don't really know if it's going to be 100% A-OK. Smart Barter can always lead to some success though, but it really does need tier 3 as well. Do you wish to become Eggplant? Nice, bright, shiny and purple. It's up to you. Feel free to comply. So these skins, they are looking quite nice, and please consider watching my Rust rotation video to get a good look at all of them. But unfortunately, I will not be surprised if every single skin here at some point probably is in the negative, although I kind of doubt it with the wooden double door, to be honest. So looking at the remaining skins, I think the next skin I want to talk about is the M39. So if you aren't fully well aware of Arctic Skull Collection, it's pretty good. We have some skins in the positive. The SAR is basically evens. AK is only down by a quarter, only. Now the reason why is because a lot of people do appreciate white weaponry. Take a look at the comics collection, for example. There's a reason why Arctic Skull is reasonably liked, is because, well, just look at that, it's too expensive. Would you like to spend $17 on a SAR? Would you like to spend $16 on AK? Some people can, that's nice, but not everybody. So, something like that, it might be pretty interesting, but now here's a wonderful question to ask you. How often do you actually get a hold of an M39? Do you like using it? These questions matter a lot because if you don't use it that much, where's the justification to own skins? And if people don't see the justification, well, they just won't buy them. I mean, a lack of demand, which will lead to bad prices. Now, if I could just look at all the recent M39 skins, there's actually positivity. Redemption's doing alright. Apocalypse Nomad's doing alright. Transparent aim sight, by the way. Kevlar M39's doing alright. Bombshells basically evens. Tempered sold far too much and it struggles because of it. And then all the older skins are doing pretty okay. So honestly, it looks like it might be a fairly okay thing that's just going to retain its value. Smart Barter is probably the smart thing to do. But I've got to remind you, these skins here, they did dip below their Rust price quite a fair bit in the past. I think a Smart Barter is going to be the way to go about that. But also, how much is it going to sell? Not even 24 hours have passed and it's already done 9,000, like 10,000 subscribers. It's getting close. The recent Redemption M39, that only did 13,700 subscribers. The sales are becoming a bit of a problem here. How much is it going to reach by the end of its tenure in the Rust store? I'm thinking it's going to be doing probably close to 25,000 subscribers. So we'll see how that turns out. It's not abnormal. That's a concern. We can't get an early insight, so I do worry for it a fair bit. Next skin I want to talk about, Deep Sea Fridge. Fridges in general, they are being appreciated. Fridges in general, we're seeing far too many of them being accepted. In the past, it used to be a rare sight to see, a very uncommon item to get skins. Nowadays, it's just like, oh look, another fridge. We've had 12 so far this year. It is a record-breaking amount. I am concerned. I am worried. Now, if you're wondering what's going on here, SUMM's been a little bit buggy. I can confirm that is number 12. You just can't see it. It says 11. That's actually number 12. Anyway, some of these have suffered. Some of these have worked out quite nicely. Deep Sea Fridge doesn't glow. However, when you wire it up, it does have the little light at the bottom that kind of glows, which is nice. But with the amount of fridges we're seeing now, it's becoming a competition to maintain your interest. And if they can't, if you like think, oh, that's nice, but then move on and forget about it, yeah, that's not going to hold it. It's not going to hold its value. It's going to lose. It's going to lose value. I don't think that's a nice enough standout skin to really go up in price a lot. However, as we get closer and closer to the naval update, perhaps aquatic theme skins would be appreciated. Imagine if this boat-based rumour proves to be true. Well, you can make a very cool sort of aquatic theme, sunken ship sort of base. Davy Jones from Captain Pirates of the Caribbean. Yep. Can't try to remember the name. So anyway, maybe maybe you might like that, but I'm still having doubts. I think I'll just stick with a Barter. So yeah, that seems to be the smarter way to go about it. With the sheet metal door, unfortunately, whilst it looks kind of cool, and by all means, if you like a skin, buy it, use it, enjoy it, support the skin creator, treat yourself to a skin if you truly want it, but as an investment, wait it out, keep an eye on the sales. But with most sheet metal doors, unfortunately, they just end up down pretty bad. I didn't mean to click that, sorry about that. Sheet metal door, please, thank you. How many of them have been doing good this year? That'll come out this year. 1. That's it, just 1. How many skins we had then? 18. Some of them were Twitch drops, yeah, but only 1 marketable one is in the positive. What about last year? We've got 1 there. We've got 1 there. That seems to be manipulated though. Scroll. And that's it. That is it. Only 1 other skin that's not being manipulated is in the positive. That one technically doesn't account because it was a skin that shouldn't have been accepted. So okay, fair enough. We understand. Can we close this? There we go. I just don't have that much faith. Temple Collection isn't exactly doing crazy numbers, but if you like it, by all means treat yourself. You could probably still do a lowball barter and pick these up for super cheap. Wouldn't be surprising if you pull that off. But yeah, it's not going to be going up super crazy numbers. Sales are okay, but I still don't trust it that much. And then we have a Python skin, Squadron Python. Now, I've shown this off in game. It actually looked quite nice. Consider watching my Rust rotation video to get a better look at it. However, it's just a regular Python. And Pythons aren't appreciated. Who knows though? Maybe they get buffed. Keep an eye on the commits. But this doesn't have a transparent aim sight. And, well, how do regular normal Pythons usually behave? Bad. They go down by about half their price. Not too long ago, we talked about that Black Ops Python. I saw it had transparency, but it didn't have the right transparency, I guess you could say. It's already gone down by half its price. It has only been in the store for about 2 weeks. That is what I expect to happen to this. Very sorry, but it feels like an inevitability. It's the weapon itself rather than the skin. Now, maybe we'll see like a collection continuation over the course of the weekend. Keep an eye on the skin creators. Let's see what they'll cook next. But Pythons aren't appreciated. So it's not looking good. Sorry to say, but yeah. Go look at all the previous behavior and all the previous skins. You get the idea. Cool. So that's basically everything. And now, Twitch drops. In the blog, if you scroll all the way down, scroll back up, whoopsie, here we are. Save the date, Twitch drops. September 20th to the 30th. Yes, for 10 days, Twitch drops are being dropped. It's Rust Kingdoms 3, and 2 skins have become visible. Will Neff's metal chestplate is right there on display, looks pretty cool, and of course, Sukuno's MP5. Now, if you've been keeping track with my YouTube, you might have noticed I put up a short video very recently. It's right here. It's Sukuno's Twitch drop. I compared this with the Heatseeker MP5, and let me tell you, the transparency in this is very comparable, but the Heatseeker still edges it out. Still more transparent. However, that's being given away for absolutely free. When the event takes place, you'll have to spend 2 hours watching Sukuno on Twitch. Not too much of a problem. He's a very good streamer. And you can get that white MP5 with a transparent aim sight, red aim sight by the way. You can get that for absolutely free. Why spend $2-ish on a Heatseeker MP5 when you can just use that? And you might sit there and say, oh, but it has a little bit more transparency than the Heatseeker. And do you really need that much more? Once you see it, I'm sure you'll appreciate it. So, just look at that. Comment below. What do you think? Right. So that seems to be everything. You can keep an eye out for my Twitch drop as well, but that's a submission, just to clarify. That's more likely to appear in a future homebrew or something, if it were to happen, alright? Thank you for all the feedback if you pass them on. I read all the comments. Thank you very much. The version 1 is the one that people liked more than the version 2, so okay, cool. Thank you once again to Milho Frito for making the skin. It turned out lovely. A lot of tons of positive words and comments have been said, so I'm super grateful for it. And now, guys, keep an eye on the sales, keep an eye on the workshop, keep an eye on the commits, and keep an eye on the numbers. It is expected a lot of skins will be going down in price from here on now. And I've already said this, it's inevitable, it's routine. Happened many times in the past around this time period. But that NAVAL update in November, I think it's going to kickstart very similar behaviour we saw last year. Let me remind you, in the past, around October time, September, October, November, there is a big drop-off. Do you see how we had like 95,000 average player count for July 2023? We lose about a third of the people here. But last year, in October, we had the world update. A lot of very curious people jumped in. They wanted to see what it looked like. We had a ton of people playing around then. And then a lot of people stuck around for November. And then a lot of very curious people spent a lot of time in December. And then we had a record-breaking amount of people playing in January. I'm expecting the exact same thing to happen all over again. The NAVAL update is huge. Lots of big content. Very likely it'll change how everything plays out. Making a base in the ocean? Being a pirate? I mean, I really do hope we get a pirate hat. Or a sea captain hat. I'm talking too quickly, sorry, but I'm hyped. Right? You've got to remember, last year, with so many people wanting to play and whatnot, it led to all prices going up very, very nicely. Post-Christmas is the best time to sell your skins. January 2026, usually the first week. Let's see if we have even more people playing for 2026. But let me remind you, January 4th swipe is expected to be the 1st of January. Sorry to the Americans, but it does. That's the way it is. Unless they decide to shift over to the next day. Technically speaking, we're going to have a roster rotation on Christmas Day. Maybe they'll put that, like, delay it by a day or something. We'll see. It wouldn't be the first time they've done it. So, okay, that's it. That's everything. Feel free to comment below what was your most favourite skin to be accepted in today's roster, and stay optimistic. There's still plenty of very interesting collection continuations on the workshop. Only one skin today was an early pick. So if you want to be aware of all the new skin submissions, consider watching my Rust Workshop Skin Checks video for September 2, 2025. There is a lot of collection continuations chaptered all along here. Bloody Tier 3. Will that be our green camouflage for the year? It's covered in blood. It'll do. I already have a short video showcasing that as well, if you truly want to get a good idea if it's any good as green camouflage. And so that's everything. That's all done. And once again, if you watch me on your phones, on the YouTube app, if you want to send some hype, I would greatly appreciate it. I hope I was nice, concise, and straight to the point to keep you informed of all the new things going on, all the things about to happen, and, of course, my opinions with the skins and expectations with their prices. Thank you so much for watching the video. I greatly appreciate it. Have fun. Enjoy the September time. Keep an eye out for October. At some point within the next few weeks, the announcement for the Halloween, competition. Forgot the word today. All the Halloween skin submissions are going to appear in the workshop soon. All right. Are we going to have 3 weeks of Halloween or 2 weeks? Last year we got 3. Will it happen again? And if it does happen again, I'd expect 3 weeks of Christmas again. So, ooh, okay. Once again, thank you very much for watching. Catch you later. See you. Goodbye. You right over there, Mr. Comfy.
Are you around?
Look at how comfy they are.
Yeah, I was just chilling.
Just chilling. Just all nice and comfy by the fire.
Oh yes, I do concur. I do concur.
What a peaceful eve this is. Yes.
Oh wait, no, there we go.
Splendid.
There we go.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Yeah, all right, mate.
Indubitably.
Doctor.
What a nice day with clear clouds.
I got work to do.
I've never seen such a wondrous sky. He's like, I'm over it.